Robert Mugabe was a hero to many, a man who fought for and achieved the end of white rule in what used to be called Rhodesia. But to his critics, he was a man who stayed on the political scene too long and brought his country to the brink of ruin. Mugabe was a resistance leader during the Rhodesian Bush War, and his determination was on show during discussions to end the conflict.
At the same time as we negotiate, we also remain determined that the armed struggle shall continue and in fact gain momentum until total power is transferred to us.
He became Prime Minister of Zimbabwe in 1980 and initially sought conciliation with the white minority. But he also quickly showed how ruthless he was. In the 1980s, he was held responsible for the massacre of thousands of people in Matabeleland who supported his rival Joshua Nkomo in elections. Many people fled their homes. By 1987, Mugabe and Nkomo had agreed to cooperate again. But by then, the post of Prime Minister had been abolished and Mugabe became president and offered concessions to his opponents.
Government has decided to grant a general amnesty to the following categories of persons.
Mugabe continued to strengthen his grip on power, but despite a promising start, the economy ran into trouble. A chaotic land reform program led to violence towards white farmers and the seizure of their properties without compensation. Skilled workers left, corruption increased, and the Zimbabwe dollar plummeted so low it was abandoned as the official currency. And in the West, Mugabe became an object of ridicule and revulsion.
Zimbabwe is potentially one of the richest grain nations in the world. And yet, because of the way he has ruined the country, it's having to import grain for its people. It's a terrible, terrible tragedy.
Mugabe almost lost power in 2008 when a man repeatedly arrested under his government, Morgan Tsvangirai, beat him in the first round of the presidential election. But the runoff vote became a walkover for Mugabe when his rival pulled out, blaming violence and intimidation. Then a deal ensued and Tsvangirai became Prime Minister. Mugabe never showed any desire to retire.
They're waiting for a day when this man, this evil man called Robert Mugabe is no longer in control. And I don't know when that day is coming.
So you have no thoughts of resigning?
No thought of dying.
Even to the end, the Zimbabwean president railed against his critics and continued to hold lavish birthday parties. To many Africans, he was the man who threw off Zimbabwe's colonial masters, but to others, the man whose greed and corruption devastated a potentially prosperous country. Andrew Hopkins, TRT World.